So this is where we are. We're at Laidhay Croft Museum, and just in front of us, the long white thatched building. You can't really miss it from the road because the road is so close. So that's where the house is. There's a great cafe here, there's toilets. The Croft Museum comprises of 3 main buildings. So you've got a small thatched building which is just next to us. I'll just show you that one. So we've got this little old small thatched, okay? So you've got this one, and then we have a more modern shed just ahead of us here. Then we've got the farmhouse itself, which is just down at the bottom, and it's a long sort of linear structure, and it was built it's built of whitewashed walls, as you can see, and then there's a thatched roof. It's reed, I think, or whatever you call it, thatch rather than heather. A lot of the buildings that are of this style usually have heather roofs on them. The heather lasts longer than the reed or the straw type. Now, this is a sort of farmhouse or a longhouse, and it was once common in this part of Caithness to see these buildings, and it's a very rare survivor of the time, because a lot of these get abandoned and then they just get, they fall into disrepair and then eventually get taken over by animals and whatnot, used as storage or a dry place for the cattle. So here in the longhouse, it's designed to provide everything a farming family would really need, all under one roof. Now, it's a traditional style of building. It's very similar to a black house. But I'm going to take you in here first, just so we have a little look around. I'm just going to let the light adjust. So we're in the little sort of barn type thing. Please do not handle the machinery. And this has got a traditional crux style roof. I know these lights are quite bright. I'll try and, if I maybe come over here and try and get it from the back. No, they're still really bright. But the way this is constructed, this is a typical style of construction. It's the Highland couple or the crux frame. And you can see, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit for you. You can see the pegs where it's been held together. It's all held together with wood. Originally this was all wood. So you can see that. And then we can see the underside of the roof as well. And here we've got these planks then they've got the thatch on top. Now you can also get the cabers, like the small beam type thing. Then we put turf, and then we would put the heather. So it's all, it depends where you are as to how things are done. But it's a fantastic little museum, and this is for sorting the grain, I think, when it comes in. I've forgotten what you call these, but I love the fact you've got the name of the people who made it just on the side there. So that's W.A. Geddes Agents Wick. So a very local piece of machinery. So there you can see, like, it's sorting the grain out, taking out the bad bits or the stones and things like that. Pretty sure that's what that's for. And look at that. Imagine having to use that to plough your fields. Corn husker. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could be right there. But oh, it's amazing. Right. This looks like some sort of bellows type contraption rather. And this one looks more modern. What have we got inside here? See, they haven't got any signs on them, sadly, to tell you what they are. But then we've got more here. And then we've got a scythe up on the wall. I don't know if you can see it there. Right, we'll come round. All sorts of amazing things. It looks like it's for cutting or something, and obviously for sharpening blades. You have the old stones here. Hi. We're just having a little look in the shed at the moment at some of the old farm tools. Now these look like some sort of trap. I'm not quite sure what they are, but they look kind of vicious. Right. Okie dokie, let's go out and have a look in the next building. I love the old door handle. Look. My gorgeous. But to think that that's the main road right there, it amazes me that this still survives. Now the walls of the houses, so you've got the house here and the shed. So these are kind of constructed of rubble, masonry. The farmhouse itself is whitewashed, and the whitewash was there to help protect the surface of the stone against weathering. We're looking 250 years and then forward a bit, because this one is a much younger shed barn thing. So, and I mentioned the roofs. So you've got the Highland couples, which are those wooden beams we saw, or crooks. You know, when they were doing the Highland clearances and they were trying to get the people off the land and the sheep on the land, what they would do was they would destroy the crook, which is the part that held the roof up, and that's where the expression of the crux of the matter comes from. About the geography, what do you mean, Diane? What is it you want to know? If you just let me know and then I can answer it. Sorry. We're in Caithness. It's famous for Caithness flagstone, so there's a lot of stone under the ground. There is peat here as well. Is that what you're asking? I don't know. And we have hills. Everything above the ground basically in Scotland is volcanic origin. Oh, Diane, sorry, I did that at the yeah, we're in Caithness. So if the locations is on, so we're in the top northeast of Scotland. So if you look at a map of Scotland, you'll see it looks a bit like a dog's face, and the forehead at the top, that's kind of where we are. So if the maps are not on your device, basically we're on the east coast right at the very top. So if you can have a look at a map later, you'll be able to see it there. I don't actually have, let me think, I've not got any pictures of maps. I'll put one in for, well, I'm probably not going to do this one again because this was kind of a one-off, because it's right at the top of Scotland. But we'll have a little look in here. Yeah. Now a crook's frame roof actually, provides more headroom than your traditional sort of A-frame. But the A-frames eventually replaced the crook because it was just more convenient and much more easier to replace. Separating the chaff from the grain. Thank you. That's brilliant. Now, unfortunately, the thing about this museum is generally there's maybe only ever one person in one of the buildings, and they've not got a lot of labels to look at, so you can't quite, sometimes if you're not familiar, it's difficult to try and work things out. Now, this one here, and whoever's farmy that knows, I believe this is for chopping up turnips. It's like for taking the I'm hoping that's right. I've seen them all over the place. And then we've got all sorts of other things. You've got the old wheels. Ooh, that's got a roller on it. Right. Oh, and you've got the old wheelbarrow here. But as you can see, this is a breeze block shed. It's not an old building, but because the museum's here, the house we're going to go into in a few minutes, they had a collection of stuff that sort of came with the house, but over time people have donated stuff and they've just kind of accumulated things. Now, this museum to get into for an adult is £2.50, which I think is a really, really good price, you know. And then we have the old bicycles. Can you imagine? Oh, just the thought of trying to ride one of those. Yeah. And then we've got the ploughs just down here. And there you go, this one's got a chain guard at least. And look at the two-wheeled cart. Let's see if we can get that in. Right, well, let's have a little wander. Oh, is that a knife sharpener? Oh, look at that. Isn't that fantastic? You've one of these wheelbarrows. Oh, poplar. That would be really nice, Gwendolyn, actually. Just before we leave, I'll show you again. Yeah, that would look fantastic with plants in it. Yeah, you're right. Oh, that's brilliant. So, yeah, like I was saying, and I mean, if you look over here, I'm just going to zoom in, there's lots of buildings that have just eventually been abandoned. So across here you can see an old cottage, there's little farmhouses next to it, and the whole thing's just been left to fall into disrepair, and new houses have been built. Oh, I didn't see the detail, Janet. I'll have a look once I've finished. I think I'll go back and just double check. So the A-frames here that we were talking about, they've been replaced at some point during the life of the longhouse. Now I'm going to just come back out so we can try and get the whole thing in, because it's huge. It's like it's one of the biggest ones I've seen, actually. So the original roof structures in the barn are still there, so that was the first one we went into, but this one has had its original roof structure changed to an A-frame. Now the oldest longhouses, like black houses, had heating. In the centre of the building, they would have a fire, and it would be peat. So very, very smoky environment. So yeah, this one actually has been modernised. We think this one's at least 200 years old. And when you had the central peat fire, you would have had like a frame over it to hang your pots and things. So here I'll just let you see, using this type of reed straw roof doesn't work as well in Scotland because we're so wet. Heather actually stands up much better. And the thing about the heather when we use it, because if we have a quick, sorry, I'm just going to show you here, you can see there's a bit that's needing work, that's needing replaced there. Now if this was a heather construction, you would just take the rotten bit out and stick in new heather, because we pull it up by the roots, so it's much easier to replace bits rather than have to do the whole roof. Anyway, it's just different materials, you use what you have at hand. So that's a little tea room just there. Now the way these buildings work are very similar to the way that you would have had if you go back to the Iron Age and you're looking at the brochs. So they're the round towers where you had the animals on the ground floor and the people above. You just take that idea, lie it down, and then you have one of these longhouses. This one is actually huge. And instead of like black houses, the common ones that you see, you have one half is the humans, the other half is the animals, but here it's separated and the humans are in the middle. And generally speaking, you kind of want the humans at the higher end of the house, so everything's running away. Oh, congratulations, enjoy the scan. Right, so as we come in here, this is like the stable. So this is where the farm horses would have been kept. You can see the old saddles just here. Okay, and you see how the floor is stone. Horses obviously any animal, the hoofs are going to churn up the ground a lot faster than humans because we're not as heavy as them. So you always have a stone floor, and usually where the humans are, they'll probably just have a hard packed floor. But here you've got the flagstones and things. But you can just see this is the drain to let the animals waste and water, make it easier to get rid of it. So you can see the yolks and all sorts. And here we can actually see the A-frame, which is straight wood, whereas the crook is usually kind of bent. It goes with the tree. There you go. Oh my word, is this an old toilet I see before me? You see the handle at the side, you'd pull that and it lets the stuff go down. Isn't that amazing? There you have an old rope ladder. Then you can see all the things to do with the horses. And in here, wait till you see this sign. I love this wee sign. All mod cons. Quite a big toilet. So there, not too bad. But yeah. And this is the ladies, just in case anyone's not sure. So the gents was on the other side, and then we've got space for storage above. So considering, we're living back, this is kind of like, it would have been used at least 200 years ago, but it kind of moves with time. So we've definitely got some Victorian going on in here as well when you've got the plumbing, which is fantastic. And now we're going to go into where the living accommodation is. So there's quite a lot to see in here because it is. You've got to remember that it's more. There's a lot more in here than there would have been originally for the family that lived here, but because it's a museum, people have donated stuff, so there's quite a lot of stuff in here. Right, let's just head in. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, brilliant, here's a map. So we're here. See what I mean when I say it looks like a dog's head? There's the nose is there. Yeah. Hi. Love the old sewing machine. And this has got a fireplace. We saw the chimney. So if it had a peat fire, the smoke must have been incredible. I don't know if I could survive in a place like this. I can't stand creepy crawlies. It would drive me insane. I don't. It's amazing though. And the box beds. That's just. Is that a hat box up there? Yeah. The dog sculptures. Yeah, I'll have a look when we go back out. It's just amazing. Look at the shoes. Wow. Those are amazing, aren't they? Then we've got some boots just down here. Oops. Bedpans, etc. Yeah, they're very pointed, those shoes. I think that they could be quite uncomfortable. Oh, look at this, it's like a little christening gown or something. So you have this bed, keep you nice and warm. Lots of people topping and tailing, can you imagine? Oh, look at the old toys. Isn't that amazing? I know it's amazing, but it would have been kept, that would have been kept somewhere safe and wrapped up. Oops. Me walking into things. Alright, there we go. It's amazing that it's still here. Ah, see, that one's got some yellowing to it. The top part's beautiful. And you have one of the samplers. Oh, look at the cradle. And the spinning wheel. Oh, look, we've got button hooks and all sorts of things. Look at the old pens. I was trying to show you this without the glare. Look at the glasses, spectacles. You've got the Bibles. That's amazing. I like this. If you make a donation, you can put some thatch on the roof. Quite like the way they've done that. And there's a preservation trust that looks after it. Now, we've got a couple of Bibles here. Now, sometimes what they would do is every time a child was born, they would write it in the Bible. So sometimes in the old family Bibles that have been passed down through generations, you can actually follow it back. You've got the family tree there. It was really beautiful, Brahman, yeah. Oh, the gimbal's casting a shadow on that. And there's how you get washed. The old typewriter. I don't know if you'll be able to see this picture, it's quite dark. Beware of the step. There we are. So we have the kitchen. So this is the kitchen. You can see the old beam there. You can see part of the old wood. And then you can see the modern A-frame. Oh, I say modern, you know what I mean. There. And then there's part. Now, so we're in the kitchen. This is where all the cooking takes place. Before they had these central hearths with the chimneys, they used on the floor in the centre there would have been a fire, and it was very smoky and peaty. Peat is quite an oily thing as well, and your chairs were very low because you needed to sit under the smoke. But what you would also do when the whole roof was filled with smoke is you would hang fish and meat and things you need to preserve in that space so that it would smoke as well. But can you imagine your lungs if you've got any kind of breathing difficulties? It would have been absolutely awful. And you've got all these things going along. Yeah. There's an old radio. Imagine being able to cook on that. Yeah, we're spoiled now. Everything's far too easy. And we've got a toolbox just down in here. And then you've got the dresser. I love this bowl. Some he meat that can't eat, and some would eat that. And then we meat. I can't read it all. I'll try and show you at the side here. Yeah, and then you've got the butter patties here. Oh, and there's a masher. And then some sort of pig, large salt pig, I'm not sure what it's for. But yeah, and then we have jelly moulds at the back here. They're face down so we can't see the pattern, but there's some nice jelly moulds there. Oh, look at that. Old pictures. Cooperative tea. So there you go. How you got your tea back in the day. And an old wooden ladle. Then you've got the table set. Right, let me just move along here without bumping into anything. Oh, that's just there. The pie tins there for cooking. It's got quite a lot. Yes, the beaded cloths going over the milk jug. I remember them too. And then you've got your little, for baking, pastry cutters and things. This is quite dark. It's not usually as dark as this, but there's no light in there's no bulb in. But hopefully you can kind of see. So we've got like the butter churning going on, the butter churns to make butter, different kinds of bowls and things. And then down here is your washing machine. So you'd stick your washing in a bucket, stick that in and turn it back and forward to agitate the water. And then we've got come on, there you go. Then we've got the mangle for wringing it all out. We've got more jugs and things down on the bottom. It's just a little bit dark to see. Oh, look, in your hip bath. Did you, Polly? Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, carpet sweeper, I'll show you that when we come back out. But here you can see the floor easier in this one. You can see the drainage and it goes out because this is, you'd keep the horses were at the stables at one end and this is where the livestock would be. Oh, remember seeing them when you were in Fife? Oh, fantastic. So, yeah, a lot of the time you find the humans are at one end, the animals are at the other, but on this one, the humans are in the middle of the building. And there's another mangle. Oh, that's a big one. There's a churn. So you've got an old fender there, and then you've got some pots and whatnot. And I've got some tools. Everything you need to run a farm and stay alive. Oh, your Nana made them. Fantastic. Yeah. See, the trouble is, a lot of the time these things get thrown out. People don't realise how important they are to keep, you know. It's part of the history. And there's a story, and a lot of time and effort went into them. There you can see a quern for grinding the grain by hand. You would use that, it'd have a little hole in it, and you just round and round. It's usually 2 parts. But here we've got a carpet sweeper. Before vacuum cleaners. Carpet sweepers, the hokies. I don't know what you called them where you are. And then you've got some horseshoes up here. Yeah. Old sign. Right. So I'm just going to take you out and show you the other buildings, but look at the beaters, the carpet beaters there. They're fantastic. Thank you for everyone that's tipping. I really do appreciate it. Right. So we'll head out and we'll have a little look at the back of the building. Oh, look at this painting before we go. Robert Ross Cormac, Margaret Cormac, Alex Cormac, and Margaret and Henry. There you go. And then you've got this. Your clock, but look at that dress. And here for making candles. All the old bottles. It's amazing how deep the windows are, yeah. look at the detail one last time on this. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, things were built to last. It's amazing, yeah. Well, the walls are thick because it's part of this construction, but it also helps keep the building up and keep you kind of warm. And your butt end onto the prevailing wind, so that that's not going to affect you too much. And then we've got some old farm stuff out here as well. You can see the ploughs and the roller. And then we've got a little cart in the shed here. It's seen better days, I think. But just to get an idea, yeah, definitely helps keep out the cold. And then you've also got, when you've got a fire going as well, it helps to warm up the stones. So when you cover the fire at night, the heat will come out of the stones slowly. It's not brilliant, but it's better than we imagine it would be. Yeah, it shows you how thick the walls were because we weren't hearing the traffic at all. And if we look at this, there's only a tiny little opening here, and that's just into the barn to let airflow, for the animals. But I'm just going to walk you up this side, and then I'll answer any questions. But it's a beautiful museum, and £2.50 to get in is more than worth it, So if you do get the chance to come up this way, definitely try and stop here. Plus the cafe's lovely. The Tearoom's really nice. The people are really friendly. Right. There we are. Well, thank you everyone that turned up. I hope you enjoyed it. Everyone that's left a tip, I really do appreciate it, because this has been quite an expensive wee trip. But such is life. But I wanted to show you some different places before winter comes, because then it kind of, when you're very remote or you're on a cliff edge and things, it's not as easy to live stream because it's too windy and rainy and horrible. So yeah, plus we're losing daylight. Yeah, staying inside in the winter. Plus your animals, having your animals in the building, although it's smelly and horrible, but the peat fire's probably singed your nostril hairs to the point you can't smell anything anyway. Animals are hot. So they help heat the building too. And then on top of that, you've got very small openings. This one had full-size doors, that's fine. Black houses, once you go to the older ones that haven't been used over the centuries, so modern, keeping up the Joneses, modernising things, the doors were actually the height of the highest animal you had. So it wasn't the human, it was like if you needed to get a cow in there, it had to be as high as the cow to allow the cow through. And then you didn't have to worry about the height after that. The humans would just bend over and get in, because the less openings you've got, the more heat you can retain. So I really do hope you enjoyed it. I've been looking forward to showing this for a while. I should have put on that it was a one-off, because I think people might have assumed that it would be done again. But anyway, thank you for coming, and I will hopefully see you at some point. Oh, it's all going too fast. The heat from the animals kept the babies warm. All right, okay, excellent. Yeah, it's amazing, and that's the trouble. People don't listen to older generations. They don't listen to what they've got to say, and then by the time people realise that what they had to say was actually quite valuable information, it's too late. And I think that's the trouble with modern life. Everyone just got, they're old, and they just don't realise that actually these people have got a lot of knowledge that when they die is lost. But anyway, right, thank you everyone for coming along, and I will hopefully see you at Ruthven Barracks if you can make it. Okay, right, bye.